Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to explain the spinning circuit. That's right, the spinny winnies. Helicopter! Helicopter! Alright, let me see. So basically, they made the changes they said they were going to do, which is, yeah, AoE. And also, we listened to the person in the comment section last time where they said, Jakey, you use the crown. And I was like, oh yeah. So the max damage with the cowl is 92, whereas with the crown, you do 60 plus the Gestalt 51. Obviously, that makes a bigger number than 92. Also, since it restores your health by draining your sanity, the crown makes it so that, you know, you don't actually lose sanity. And you regen really fast because you can hit multiple targets. Anyway, so the first change is, of course, this is AoE now. How good is this thing's AoE? Is this good? Yes, is the answer. Yes. I need to put it all in perspective for you though. So let me just hold F with a Bright Shade Sword plus Crown. This is something that every character can do, and it's like a normal-ish amount of damage, maybe a bit more because of the crown. Yes, Sword and a Crown, 261. Now this is usually the best damage that any character can achieve. That is the Bright Shade Staff plus Crown. And that's because every time you swing the staff, it does 5 hits, because it bounces 4 times for 5 total hits. And then every bounce triggers a Gestalt. So this one's doing almost 400 DPS. There's birds spawning, so it's getting in the way, but this is meant to be 650 DPS, as you can see, about 650. When there aren't birds interrupting, this will do 400, and this will do 250. That is like 2.5 times of the Bright Shade Sword and Crown. So the staff is very, very good. But then, that's not all, because then we've got, that's right, the Maul. So the Maul would have been WX's best against 2 targets, but they did a little change. So, along with what they said they were going to do, what they also did was this. After you spin for a certain amount of time, a maximum of 10 seconds it seems, you will see that we can move while we spin as well. We enter a little dizzy state, and then we can start spinning again. Now, there's a little bit of intricacy to the dizzy state, and I'll try to explain it. I haven't looked at the code, but this is from like an outside perspective. This is what I think what happens, right? You have like a dizziness threshold where you can spin for up to 10 seconds, and once you reach this threshold of spinning for 10 seconds, WX enters the stun state where he gets a bit dizzy for a second or two and stops spinning. Then while you're not spinning, that dizziness threshold like goes down. The amount of dizziness you have goes down. Now, how fast does it go down? Well, from my testing, I'll give you the TLDR. From my testing, you can spin for 10 seconds, so this will be about 24 hits, if you're counting. 24 hits, then I go dizzy. And if I stop attacking for like a second, then I start spinning again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I broke my Maul, dang it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Alright. Now if we stop attacking for like a second, and then we start spinning again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. There we go. 21 hits. So you saw how little of a break I took. Keep that in mind. After finishing the dizzy state, I didn't attack for like a second, then I started attacking again. Now, what happens if I hold Control F? So as soon as I stop being dizzy, I immediately start spinning again. Well, this is what happens. We'll do the 24 hits, or about 10 seconds of... We'll do the 24 hits, or like 8, 9, 10 seconds of spinning. If I hold Control F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... Only 8 attacks. Then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Only 7 attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 7 attacks again. Whereas now, if I wait for a couple seconds... And I start doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24. Oh, I even got 25, I think, then. Or I miscounted. Anyway, the point is, from that testing, you can see that basically, if you spam the spinning attack without taking a break, like even just a 1 second break, you get punished quite a lot because it means you get dizzy much faster, right? You get dizzy a lot faster, as in you can only land 7 attacks before getting dizzy again. That is to say that while you're not spinning, your dizziness meter, like, it clears really fast, but you have to actually you have to let it clear. So, which means, TLDR, once you enter the dizzy state, you need to stop attacking for like a second, like only 1 second, and then you could start spinning for the maximum amount again. Don't just immediately come out of spinning and then immediately start spinning again, because you'll only get 7 attacks in. Now, does this really matter? Well, let me just watch this. I need to max out the wall. Spin. Now, does this really matter? And the answer is probably no, because in a real boss fight, you're not just holding F. you're like kiting, maybe doing some other stuff, switching to different weapons. So let's spawn Bearager, and let's do a little fight. Now Bearager is, there's a little quirk with Bearager's fight, which I'll show. So I'm getting some good spins in. Well, time for a butt slam. Did you see that little quirk there? It actually worked out fine. But if you saw, oh, I got dizzy. So now I should stop attacking for a second. Oh, but it's fine. I am dodging now. So you can see the little quirk there was that WX will start, if you hold F, he'll start the spinning attack like when he's out of range. Like watch this. See that? He starts spinning when he's out of range. Now they did add, it looks like you kind of glide forward quite fast, but regardless, the first spin you do will always miss if you don't go right next to the enemy. So you have to go right next to it, then start the spin. So with Bearager specifically, it can make you miss the stun, but otherwise it won't matter. And so the only time you're gonna get stunned in a real fight is like against, like right there. Like with Bearager and like Possessed Varg and Crystal Deerclops, they have a stun state where you can attack for like 8 to 10 seconds. So that's the only boss fights where you'll probably actually reach the stun state. And when you do, it's not a massive deal, especially if you have the electric circuit plugged in, which I do, because the electric circuit says when you get attacked, it stuns whatever attacks you, so you won't get comboed out. So this is the endgame WX setup, by the way. Enlightened Crown, Warbis Armor, Shadow Maul. You can, of course, use the Void Robe or the Bright Shade, or the Bright Shade body, but this just gives you speed, which is pretty good. And also, and the last thing I didn't mention is that you can, it's really hard to control. You have to hold so many keys, but you can glide. Like, you can glide around while you're spinning, and it like slows you down, but it scales based on your speed bonus. But I wouldn't recommend it because, first of all, you might just miss your spins, right? Like, I might just do this, and I still get dizzy by doing this. Even though I'm not hitting anything, I will still get dizzy. See? So the dizziness does go by how long you were spinning for, and not like how many hits you delivered. Which is good, because, you know, it's an AoE attack. Anyway, point is, I wouldn't recommend doing this gliding around. Like, it's hard to control, but, like, it's funny. But I wouldn't recommend it, because, yeah, if you're, like, doing this, if you're like attacking and then gliding around, but you're missing, it still adds to your dizziness meter. So I would recommend just do the attacks, and then like run around normally. But if you want to be a top tier gamer, you can spin and move at the same time, which is quite funny. But Jake, isn't this only good for the end game? And also Clay, I'm just saying though, this is with one spin circuit. Clay, like hear me out, Clay. 2 spin circuits, higher dizziness threshold, so I can spin for longer without getting dizzy. Like 15 seconds rather than 10. Clay, please, I need this. Please. You might think, but Jakey, isn't this just like an end game circuit? And the answer is like kind of yes, but also no. See, the pick/axe counts as an axe, and is quite powerful because it does 42 damage. And, well, again, in normal combat, that's not a whole lot. But of course, it's AoE, so I'm actually doing 85 damage. You probably wouldn't have the crown at this point. And just to remind you, to unlock this spin circuit, you need to scan a mossling baby and then get a feather. So you could get the feather from claws, but you still need to scan the baby in spring. Which means, in the early game, this spin circuit you just can't use. You don't have access to it, which is a shame because it's kind of an early game gimmick. Like, having a normal axe or a golden axe and using that as an AoE weapon would be kind of legit in the early game. If you're fighting 2 or 3 targets, you'd rather use this than a hand axe. Like, this is kind of legit. Also, if you're playing leisurely, like, this circuit is pretty good as well because you're gonna get it in your first spring, and by that time you might not have fought bosses like Bee Queen and stuff, at which point you can do some silly things. Let me just spawn a little Bee Queen over there 1 second. I'll take this helmet off because, you know, you probably wouldn't have it. But look at this. I'm going to hold F versus Bee Queen, no problem. So you're 1v1 in Bee Queen. In this case, I've got the electric fences set up, so it's kind of messing up my example. But let me turn them off. And then, oh no, the grumble bees are coming. Don't worry about it. Pick/axe spin. And as you can see, the spin is actually extra good that I forgot to mention. If you couldn't tell there, they added just stagger resistance. As long as you start spinning, you just have stagger resistance. You can't be staggered out of what you're doing, which is insane. Because, like, holding F with a dark sword, yep, cool, 68 damage, and when you get poked, you get staggered, so it cancels your attack animation briefly. Whereas with the pick/axe, like, you're just going. You're gaming. Which in itself is also, like, a DPS increase. Now, if you hadn't watched my first video for whatever reason, look at this. Oh my goodness, it's chewed up. If you hadn't watched the first video, when you spin, you have like a 30-something% attack speed buff over just normal attacking. So not only are you doing 30% more damage, so not only am I doing 30% more damage through attack speed, so 42.5 multiplied by 1.36, I think it was a 36% speed bonus. So I'm effectively doing 57 damage per hit if it was a normal attack speed, which is almost the same as a hand bat, but it's AoE with the pick/axe. But I'm also not able to be staggered. So this pick/axe, the way I'm attacking here, like this, I'm effectively doing the same single target damage as holding F with a hand bat, but it's AoE, and also I can't be staggered. The only downside is the dizziness, of course. But only stop attacking for a second, and I can keep attacking. So I think they balanced this really well. You only need to stop it when you get dizzy. You just need to stop attacking for literally 1 second. Like literally just 1 second. So wait for the dizziness animation to finish, wait 1 second, then you can continue spinning, and you can get another 10 or you can get another 23, 24 hits in. Like, they've balanced this quite well, I think. So I think this is balanced really well. I think they did a good job. It's still really, really powerful. And the only thing that sucks about it so far is that you can't get it until first spring, which is quite late. But again, if you're casually playing, first spring is probably still early game for you, at which point you can do the shenanigans with the pick/axe. If you're more advanced or you're like rushing Fuel Weaver, you'll probably have the maul by the time first spring comes around, because you'll kill Fuel Weaver in in winter or something. Look at all the stolts you spawn from spinning, dude. It's actually glorious. All right, now I'm gonna go over things that I knew, but I just missed in my last video. Between It's Time to Perish. Actually, if I delete her, it might break things, so I'll just get the one hit. Ah, yes. Get one hit, idiots. So they also changed the blocking circuit. So let me get my tweezers. So the blocking circuit, before it had a blocking limit, which I didn't realize at the time, but it could only block 75 damage. So for example, if we spawn normal bears or give him a smack, then we enter the block stance. Hooah! Blocked a little bit. Oh, we've blocked some more. Oh, we've blocked more. Oh my goodness, we're still blocking. Is this allowed? There we go. So I think you can block until you've taken 100 damage. Before it used to be you can block until you've taken 75 damage. And now it has a cooldown of 60 seconds rather than 120 seconds. Whereas if we wear a log suit, 3.5, 3.5. Also they buffed the electric circuit. So I think they changed it to they reverted its, when your armor breaks, it kicks you out of the blocking stance. That's kind of lame. Now, my only problem with the blocking circuit is when would you actually use it? I want you to tell me in the comments when you would actually use it. Like, you could do this kind of build, where you've got triple electric circuit, and you're specifically just going to sit there and block. So let's give him a little poke. Alright, Bulgur, let's test you out. Block. So I'm reflecting 100 damage. Oh, no. So I'm reflecting 90 damage. I mean, that's not bad, I guess. Like, you'd rather have the spin circuit and like spin to do 42.5 damage with pick/axe to everything around you, and much faster because you attack faster than things attack. But this is like kind of legit. But I believe this was also changed. So when I'm about to let out this electric pulse, here we go, soon. Electric pulse inbound. 225 damage. It used to, that used to like kick you out of the blocking stance. So unfortunately my full sight suit is going to break, which is going to kick me out of the stance. But you can block until you've lost 100 health, is I believe what the limit is. So what if we spawned just like a bunch of spiders? I mean a bunch of spiders. Gave him a little poke. Bam. Oh, what? It kicked me out of block so fast. Okay, low-key, I don't know how the blocking works. Hold on. I'm mildly confused. One hound, please. Block some damage. Block some more. Oh, it died. So, like, it has a limit, but honestly, I'm kind of confused what the limit is. But basically, you can't block forever. There's a limit to how long you can block for, and they'll probably change it. Now, anyway, the other thing that I missed, hold on, let me see. It was to do with the food block circuit. I kind of sold it a bit short. There it is, redigestion. So this circuit is like better than I showed off. So I knew that these things I knew that the things I'm about to say were a thing, but I just forgot to say it. Just plug 3 of those in. Okay, cool. So you process a bunch of spoiled food. Excellent. You're loving life. You make a bunch of these Nutribricks. Now, we've gone through what they do, which is you make them wet, then you can eat them for 19 hunger, and then once they dry off, they dry back into a Nutribrick, and while they're in this dry state, they don't spoil. And they do spoil when they're in the wet state, but it takes a while, and like I said, once they get dry, they revert back to this, meaning it resets their freshness, right? Now, something that I forgot to mention is this works as really good fuel. Very good fuel, in fact. The fire is out. I'm going to put 1 Nutribrick in there. Bam. Strong fire. So it counts as like a big strong fire source. I mean fuel source. So like honestly that's kind of huge. And so my Flinger Mag's empty. Now it's out with nearly half a Flinger Mag. It takes 2.5 Nutribricks to fill up a Flinger Mag. Amazing. So these Nutribricks are really solid, and what I really like about it is you don't need to switch out skill trees. You just need to switch out your circuits. To make it, and then you can just stockpile a bunch and then unplug them all. Otherwise, like I said before, I think in like a mega base world with like lots of players, this is super legit. You would make a ton of Nutribricks and just give it to everyone. Like, it's so legit. So if you haven't watched my original WX tree review, go give that a watch, because I cover everything which I just didn't talk about just now. Oh, also they buffed the chorus box so that stuff panics for longer. Here, let me show you. Wait, not the chorus box, I lied. They buffed the other one, this one, Sonic Invoker circuit. So with just one of these circuits, you can't stay in the stance. If you watch my last video, you'll know what I'm talking about. With just the one circuit, you can't stay in the stance, but they did increase how long it causes panic for. So I do this, you do it, then you get kicked out of the stance. I guess. Oh my goodness, they really buffed this. Okay, so this used to only be an ability that you could do with 2 of these plugged in. So before, when you had 2 of these plugged in, you could stay in the stance like this, but now with just 1 plugged in, I can stay in the stance. Anywho, what they said that they buffed wasn't this, but that when you turn it off, things will stay panicking for longer. It used to be 5 seconds, and now it's allegedly longer. Yeah, this has been longer than 5 seconds. Maybe 8 seconds now? Not sure. And then it has a cooldown of like maybe 20 seconds or so. Looks like they've reworked it a little bit, as in, regardless if you have 1 or 2 plugged in, you can stay in the stance. But now the only benefit to having 2 plugged in is you have a bigger panic range, which is basically your entire screen. I think that's everything. I'm gonna go back to my mega base world now, and as soon as this tree comes out, I'm gonna do the boss rush and make the guide. It'll be great fun. Anyway, I'm going now. Goodbye. Let me know what you think in the comments.